And the Lord spoke to Moses and to Aaron, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, and say to them, When any man has a discharge from his flesh, he is unclean because of his discharge. And this shall be his uncleanness in his discharge. His flesh has run with his discharge, or his flesh is ceased from his discharge, it is his uncleanness. Every bed on which he who discharges lies is unclean, and everything on which he sits shall be unclean. And whoever touches his bed shall wash his clothes and bathe in water, and be unclean until sunset. And he that sits on anything on which he who discharges sat shall wash his clothes and bathe in water, and be unclean until sunset. And he that touches the flesh of him who discharges shall wash his clothes and bathe in water, and be unclean until sunset. And if he who discharges spits on him that is clean, then he shall wash his clothes, and bathe in water, and be unclean until sunset. And whatever saddle he who discharges rides on shall be unclean. And whoever touches anything that was under him shall be unclean until sunset. And he that carries any of those things shall wash his clothes, and bathe in water, and be unclean until sunset. And whomever he who discharges touches, and has not rinsed his hands in water, he shall wash his clothes, and bathe in water, and be unclean until sunset. And the earthen vessel that he who discharges touches shall be broken, and every vessel of wood shall be rinsed in water. And when he who discharges is cleansed of his discharge, then he shall number 7 days to himself for his cleansing, and wash his clothes, and bathe his flesh in running water, and shall be clean. And on the 8th day he shall take 2 turtle doves for himself, or 2 young pigeons, and come before the Lord to the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and give them to the priest. And the priest shall offer them, the one for a sin offering, and the other for a burnt offering. And the priest shall make an atonement for him before the Lord for his discharge. And if any man's semen goes out from him, then he shall wash all his flesh in water, and be unclean until sunset. And every garment and every skin on which the semen shall be, it shall be washed with water, and be unclean until sunset. And the woman with whom a man shall lie with emission of semen shall both bathe in water, and be unclean until sunset. And if a woman has a discharge, and her discharge in her flesh is blood, she shall be in her impurity 7 days, and whoever touches her shall be unclean until sunset. And everything that she lies on in her impurity shall be unclean. Everything also that she sits on shall be unclean. And whoever touches her bed shall wash his clothes, and bathe in water, and be unclean until sunset. And whoever touches anything that she sat on shall wash his clothes, and bathe in water, and be unclean until sunset. And if it is on the bed, or on anything on which she sits, when he touches it, he shall be unclean until sunset. And if any man lies with her at all, and her impurity is on him, he shall be unclean 7 days, and every bed on which he lies shall be unclean. And if a woman has a discharge of her blood many days outside of the time of her impurity, or if she discharges it beyond the time of her impurity, all the days of the discharge of her uncleanness shall be as the days of her impurity. She is unclean. Every bed on which she lies all the days of her discharge shall be to her as the bed of her impurity, and whatever she sits on shall be unclean, as the uncleanness of her impurity. And whoever touches those things shall be unclean, and shall wash his clothes and bathe in water, and be unclean until sunset. But if she is cleansed of her discharge, then she shall number to herself 7 days, and after that she shall be clean. And on the 8th day she shall take 2 turtle doves to her, or 2 young pigeons, and bring them to the priest, to the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And the priest shall offer them, the one for a sin offering, and the other for a burnt offering. And the priest shall make an atonement for her before the Lord for the discharge of her uncleanness. So you shall separate the children of Israel from their uncleanness, so that they do not die in their uncleanness when they defile my tabernacle that is among them. This is the law of him that has a discharge, and of him whose semen goes from him and is defiled with it, and of her that is menstruating, and of him that has a discharge, of the man, and of the woman, and of him that lies with an unclean woman.